Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for the Walking Dead comic books. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict what I think is going to happen in issues 145 and 146 that will be coming out this month and next month, respectively. After 144's ending, I think there's just a lot to talk about. I have a couple of predictions, and we're going to see where they go. Just in case you guys are not caught up with the comics, this video will contain spoilers, so be warned if you do not want to be spoiled at all, do not watch the video. Okay, so the way that we left off in issue 144, which ended the 24th volume and it ended the 3rd compendium, is, Alpha killed several individuals of Alexandria, Hilltop, Sanctuary, and the Kingdom. Rick and Alpha had a meeting, Alpha being leader of the Whisperers, a group of individuals, that dress as walkers. They wear walker masks. They wear clothing that, smells like walkers. They live, amongst the walkers, and they live very primitively. And they had some run-ins with Rick's group. People got killed on both sides. Lydia was taken hostage. There were some other Hilltop members taken hostage. Carl went after Alpha to get Lydia back. Things like that happen. And finally it ends with, Rick and Alpha meeting. Alpha basically giving Rick an ultimatum. You need to leave us alone. Leave us alone or we're going to come after you. And she shows him a bunch of walkers, as well as some members of the Whisperers that are, interspersed in there. You can't really tell the difference. And then, of course, Alpha says, I marked a border, so you'll know where you can't cross. And, of course, it's with the heads of several of the individuals of those 4 communities. Some of the more prominent members that were killed were Rosita and Ezekiel. A full list is available on my issue 144 review. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to that video and check it out. So obviously it left off with so many questions, so many, curious, thoughts. Like, what is going to happen after this, terrible occurrence? Because obviously Rick's very upset. Rick collapses, is upset by what happened, and Andrea basically asks him, what are we going to do? And I have some predictions about where I think that's going to go. Issue 145 is actually coming out next week. It's coming out a week from now on August 12th. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a great issue. The tagline reads, Blood for Blood. And I'm going to show you a picture of what the issue is going to look like. So if you'll pay attention to your screen, it'll be coming up. And if you see here, this is the picture of the front page of issue 145. It is Michonne's sword with blood on it, hence the blood for blood kind of, tagline that it has. Now, Letter Hacks, I guess, is a frequent spoiler site or something like that that releases information. And apparently Robert Kirkman wrote that there's some heavy stuff ahead in this issue, and that Robert Kirkman also noted that this issue might be a whole compendium's worth of information. So, what exactly does that mean? That can mean a lot, but here's some of the things that I think are going to happen. With the sword being the center of the image of the front page, I think the sword's going to be used in this issue. Now it could be used for something very simple as, stabbing the heads of the individuals on the stakes that were used to set up the fence. I don't think Rick's going to leave them there. I think that would be very inappropriate. I think they will take them down, give those individuals a proper burial. It might just be used for that, but I think that it's going to be used for a little bit more than that. One of the things that we can't forget is that one of the people that was killed was Ezekiel. And, of course, Ezekiel and Michonne were, in love with each other. And I think that that's definitely going to weigh heavily on Michonne. Michonne has had her own struggles ever since we've first been introduced to her. She's had trouble, accommodating to this world. She's been very, restrictive with her emotions. She doesn't express emotions. She's found that it's very hard to grow close to people because now this is her 3rd lover that's been killed. You had Tyrese, you had Morgan, and now you have Ezekiel. So it's very hard for Michonne to grow these connections. And now that, she left, she left to go out into the ocean on that fisher's boat, just left the group. And, we're going to maybe see a little bit more of insight into that in that Telltale video game that's coming out. I don't remember when, but it's about Michonne. And, it's going to have us understand maybe a little bit more of that. But I think that, obviously Michonne has her own demons. And I think that when she sees Ezekiel's head and once she, takes everything in, I think that the main part of this issue is going to be that Michonne's going to want revenge. I really think that, she realizes that she really did like Ezekiel, that she should have said something to him, that she shouldn't have left, she should have stayed, she should have been with him, maybe he wouldn't have run off. And I don't know if she's going to find out about that or not, that, part of the reason why Ezekiel is dead is because he left the fair in order to find her. And I'm assuming that when he left, that's when they grabbed him. So, if she finds out about that, Michonne is absolutely going to be upset about that. But I think that this is when you see Robert Kirkman saying, that this issue could be a whole compendium, I think that it might actually mean that there's going to be some big things going on, because I really think that Michonne is going to, either get on a horse or run or something across that border. I don't know whether Rick or anybody's going to try to stop her. They may encourage her. Heck, they may even go with her. This may be an instantaneous, we're going after them. I don't care. I don't care what she showed me. We're going after them. It may be very possible that we may see several people go across the border, but if not, then I think Michonne definitely is. I think that's why her sword has blood on it, similar to how, Alpha's machete had blood on it. I think that it's very clear that we are going to see, Michonne going after Alpha. I have no doubt about that. And even if she doesn't get to Alpha, I think that Michonne will at least encounter several walkers. I think we may see, similar to season 4 in the episode after, how Michonne slaughtered that herd of walkers that she was walking with. I think we may actually see Michonne, taking out some aggression on some walkers. Maybe she might run into some whisperers along the way. But I think that there may be even more going on. And if I had to make my best guess, I think there is a very good chance that Michonne will kill Alpha in this issue. If Robert Kirkman's words are to be taken literal, that this could compare to a compendium, then I think that what that means is that Alpha's going to get killed. Because obviously you could stretch this story out a little bit, make Alpha do various things, but I think that there's a very good chance that, in order to maybe move the story forward, I think Alpha could be killed. And that's my best guess, but I think that, she's going to confront Alpha. I think there's going to be a fight. And, I think that Michonne's going to end up killing Alpha. Because one of the things that I noticed about issue 144 is something that Alpha said to Rick. And I have it right here. I'm going to read it. She said, if the Alpha doesn't assert itself, meaning if the Alpha doesn't assert their power control over the group, the betas, which is basically every other Whisperer, there is chaos. I only fill the role as needed until another steps up and takes it from me. Now, I think that honestly is foreshadowing potentially her death, potentially at Michonne's hands. I think that may mean that, Michonne kills her, and I think one of two things may happen as a result of this. I think that either, one, as a result of killing Alpha, that is the chaos that is exactly what Alpha predicted is going to happen, will happen, and that when Alpha's dead and people find out about it, who's going to take over? Who's going to take over the control of the group? And it may be that nobody does, that nobody can step up, or people argue amongst themselves, and that may result in the Whispers being lost. They may go across the border in future issues and fight, the group. So we may see this being the beginning of the fight between the Whisperers and the Walkers, which may result in several of the communities being torn down, ripped apart, things like that. Kind of like how we have that Walker herd that's going to be going through Alexandria in the TV show, and kind of like how it did in volume 14. We may see that happen again, maybe not at Alexandria, but somewhere else. I think it's very possible that this may be the beginning of the war between these two groups, that Michonne kills Alpha, nobody's there to step up, and as a result, chaos ensues, or that maybe another Alpha does step up, and this one may be worse, maybe better, I don't know. But the other possibility is that maybe Michonne becomes the new Alpha. I would not put it past them to do that to her. Just the way that Michonne is, the way that her character is, we notice that she doesn't grow close to people, and that every time she does, it seems like something happens. And we saw how that happened to Ezekiel now. We saw how that happened with Tyrese, Morgan. She has problems connecting with people because she loses them. She's lost her 2 daughters. She's lost the people that she's loved. And she left to go out into the ocean, with maybe a few other people, and probably mostly stayed with herself. But I would not be surprised if Michonne stays. And that, maybe because of the fact that Michonne killed Alpha, it may be that the other Whisperers see her as, the new Alpha. That may be how it goes. I mean, you've seen in other, stories, media, that, when somebody steps up and kills the leader, they take that position, like Call the Wild. Buck and Spitz, those 2 dogs, they fought. Buck won. He becomes the leader of the group. Everybody accepted it. And it may be that this might be how it works with the Whisperers, that they may not kill Michonne because of what she does. It's very possible that she is going to step into the place as the Alpha and basically lead the group. And I don't think that she would necessarily lead the group, against Rick's group. This may just mean that, the group becomes, controlled a little bit. That this may be preventing the war from happening. So it may happen, and we may see that Michonne takes a different kind of path. Or we may see that somebody else challenges her. She may realize this isn't for her. Things like that. But I think that with what I'm seeing and what Robert Kirkman said, I really think that there is a very good chance that Alpha might die. Michonne either will step up as the new Alpha, or I think that she will, go back across the border, because everything erupts into chaos, and that may be why the war starts between the 2 groups. So I think that those are the things that will happen. I would be very surprised if something else didn't, because, the other thing too is I'm going a lot based off of what Robert Kirkman said. It may be that, this is an exaggeration. We don't know. So there are lots of different things that could happen, but those are my best predictions based off of what I've seen in the from the image that I've seen. And what the rest of the group is doing, I'm not sure. But I think that with my next review, which is going to be in my next video, since this video is running a little long, you'll see what I think Rick is going to be doing in the meantime. So if you'll stay tuned for the next video, I will review issue 146 and try to make some predictions. Stay tuned.